The warm weather has finally arrived, and the sunshine too in the UK, so I thought now was as good a time as any to have a quick recap of what I've done to the GTS over the winter months. So one of my first jobs of the winter in the garage was to get the rear light clusters out, the smoked GTS lenses out, and give those a bit of a clean, check the condition behind those. And in fact, I actually also replaced a couple of the rubber bungs where the units are bolted in within the boot. So that was a good job, well done, and it's nice to know that's been done and is all as it should be. I did a similar job with the front headlights, the PDLS headlights, and those slip out pretty easily too. Quite a clever design, and allowed me to check everything was fine in there, which it was. So those are all set and working as designed. I gave the frunk and the boot a deep clean too. The frunk, well, you know where the frunk is, and that came up quite nicely. Got the carpets deep clean with some cloths and a bit of fabric cleaner, plastics as well. And you may recall, if you've seen this video, you can take the strips out here and clean around those as well, which came up very nicely. I also got a deep clean in the panel behind the panel here, the battery compartment panel, which meant taking the panel out, getting the battery out, cleaning the tray the battery sits in, and generally having a bit of a poke around in there too. And happily that was all in good condition and continues to be, because it's generally a better sealed. There's a better weather seal for the battery compartment compared to the 987 generation, which I previously had. So that's staying nice and tidy. Another big job was taking all four wheels off for a good clean of the wheel arches, and indeed the wheels and the brakes and the calipers, and just generally having a good poke around underneath the car, or indeed through the wheel arches, to see what condition everything was in. And those went back on happily, and nothing was found to be untoward, which was very encouraging. Another job I did, but didn't actually do a film about, was replacing the rear badge on the car, or badges I should say. It still says Porsche, but I'll do a little bit of a drop in now to show what it's looked like before. So here we are at the back of the car. That is 8 years worth of grubbiness on the around the lettering of the badging, and I like a bit of a tinker. So anyway, I'm going to replace this, and you can see I've already taken off that. That is the remains of the glue and the foam that gives it this sort of soft mount, and all the grubbiness in between that doesn't come out. So my first job is to lift all that off with the solvent and then some polish, clean that, and then the same for that. And the reason I'm not taking these off yet is because I'm going to replace this, but I'm not replacing that. I'm going to replace that with like for like, and I'm going to use this to help me position it just below it to match or balance the missing Boxster badge. So I'm going to use these as templates onto prepared paintwork there, and then I shall take those off and clean that. So we'll sort of do it in 2 stages. So I have got the glue off using a hairdryer. Thank you, the internet. But you can see, if I get the camera at the right angle, we've got a lot of residual glue, dirt, what are generally sort of referred to as witness marks. And the way to get that out is to polish it very gently, repeatedly, lightly hand polish it. I'm going to polish this whole, this whole area now, because that's where my new lettering is going to go, and I want to put the lettering onto a cleanly polished area, because once you put the restuck the letters on, it's very hard to polish around. So next job is to polish off these marks, and then the general area I'm using a hand polish from Maguire, one of those ones where as you use it, as you work it, it degrades down into a finer and finer compound, so you get quite a good finish on it. Well, all the best jobs are finished, or at least part finished in the dead of night, but I have managed to get the new letter is on, as you can see, and I have done it from the sticker, which is not the same width. So I've created a template to use the badges as a guide. So vertical and then horizontal, and actually I think that's worked quite well. It's certainly as good as can be expected at this stage, and if all comes out in the wash and I'm not happy with it, I can take the whole lot off, start again. Now I haven't totally managed to get, hang on, put my head torch on, I haven't totally managed to get the, let's see if we can find some marks. No, I don't know if I can show this on the camera. I haven't totally managed to get the marks out, but in truth, the fact that I'm struggling to show you on the camera is a good sign. So that's halfway through, and then the next job is to remove the old letters and clean and polish those, which will basically leave just the Porsche. I don't intend to put the Boxster back on, and hopefully I have judged the spacing. So if you were to imagine just the lower line of letters, that would be what it says. The beauty of this entire thing is if I don't like it, I can do it all again in a different way. And you can see that it still says Porsche, but no longer says Boxster GTS. And that was quite a fun little thing to do. And, well, one of the things that we like to do to our cars to make them ours. So I'm really happy with the way that's come up. The cabin got a deep clean too. The GTS standard spec has the Alcantara interior, which is a very nice thing and contrasts well with the leather. But the Alcantara needed a good clean, and so I did that with some product. And the steering wheel too. If we can get a good focus on this in this light, you'll see it's got pile. There's actual texture to the fabric. If you've got an Alcantara wheel and it's hard and slightly sort of grey yellow, that's an Alcantara wheel that needs cleaning. They come up well, they're easy to do, and they feel fabulous when you've done it. And the same is true of the slightly overexposed gear knob as well. That should feel nice and soft, that Alcantara around there. And with a bit of love, care and attention, and maybe mainly I should say a bit of elbow grease, the interior does come up really rather well. One of my more esoteric jobs was replacing the caps on the brake and clutch, and that was easy enough to do. And while we're in here, you hopefully have watched the video in which I added the footwell lighting, and you can just see the light lens there, excuse my overexposed finger. But that has made a nice subtle difference to the lighting in the car at night. Just allows a little bit more of the detail to be seen, and funnily enough allows you to put your feet accurately and carefully into the footwell. So I'm really pleased with the way that worked too. Those two little improvements make everything a little bit more fresh and special. Another winter job was upgrading, or in fact replacing, the hard drive in the PCM, the Porsche Communication Management System. And that was replacing the original hard drive, which had a spinning platter with an equivalent form factor, but with the SSD solid state drive with no moving parts, hopefully to avoid a disk failure in the future, which would be a slightly more costly exercise in terms of replacing it. And at the same time updated the mapping database to the latest version to give me slightly more up-to-date maps and bits and pieces on the PCM for some future road trips. And one of the biggest things I did to the car was replace the PSE, the Porsche Sports Exhaust, with a new version of the same, and that meant getting underneath and making sure everything was working properly, which happily it does. And I still need to get some grease on there, but it's all working as intended. So that was another bit of work that was definitely worth doing. I should add that I'm planning to try and improve the quality of those tips. I don't know whether I might give them a quick respray. They're a bit of a nuisance to get off without loosening off the rest of the system, but I reckon I can lower them down and give them a respray. Anyway, that's a job for another day. But the tips still work. They're just looking a little bit worse for wear. And that ladies and gentlemen, is your winter update. And yeah, it's been quite good fun. I bought the car in August 2023, and winter was just about doing a few jobs on the car, just sort of make it mine, get a sense of what it is I've bought, whether it's in good condition, a couple of little tweaks, some preventative maintenance, and we're looking pretty good come May, which is where we are now. An awful lot more to do, not all of it strictly necessary, but then it wouldn't be a project car if I just did the necessary things, would it? So do keep watching. If you've enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these, please subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.